from the great state of California and the next Speaker of the 118th Congress, Kevin McCarthy.
That was easy, huh? I never thought we'd get up here.
Okay. Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. 15 tries. 15 tries. You know what? We're going to pause on that for just a moment. Let's have a talk. Just you and me talking about life. We'll get back to Kevin McCarthy and Speaker of the House and all those other things, but we don't have very many frank life conversations anymore as a society. I know what you do and I do, you do in your personal life, but as a society, any tough conversation is generally avoided. Let's have a talk about leverage. We don't like to talk about things like leverage because it makes people uncomfortable. It makes people feel like you're playing an angle. Oh, he's just in it for his own selfish interests, but aren't we all in it somehow, some way for our own selfish interests? Doesn't have to apply just to Speaker of the House votes or the business world. Doesn't it apply in your own personal life if you're being really, really honest with yourself? Fellas, want to go golfing with the boys this weekend? I know you could just go, but it certainly doesn't hurt to ask the wife if she has anything extra you can do for her on Saturday before you take off for beers and 18 holes on Sunday at noon, does it? Ladies, getting ready to ask for some extra drapes in the house might cost a bit of money. Well, a nice dinner or two can sure grease those skids, can't they? Leverage. Leverage is important in life. Leverage matters. And it's important to use it when you have it if you can use it smartly. Because I want to talk about this. You hear Kevin McCarthy getting up and saying things like he's going to hold the swamp accountable.
We will hold the swamp accountable. From the withdrawal of Afghanistan to the origins of COVID and to the weaponization of the FBI.
No, let's pause for a moment here. I'm still cynical, Jesse. Let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic about those things. I am optimistic, cautiously, but who was that up there? Was that you? Did you take the gavel? Was that me up there? Weaponization of the FBI? Why would he get up and say? You know why he got up and said that? Do you know why, as part of the rules package, we have single subject bills, which we've needed forever? They're going to vote for term limits. Don't worry, they'll vote them down, but they're going to vote for term limits. They have a special committee chaired by Jim Jordan, specifically focused now on the weaponization of the federal government. My goodness, that sounds outstanding. That's awesome. Why'd we get all that? We got all that because 20 people in the House of Representatives realized that they had leverage and they chose to use said leverage. And on this show, they're all going to get a shout out by name. Here they are: Andy Biggs, Dan Bishop, Lauren Boebert, Josh Breachin, Michael Cloud, Andrew Clyde, Eli Crane, Byron Donalds, Matt Gaetz, Bob Good, Paul Gosar, Andy Harris, Anna Paulina Luna, Mary Miller, Ralph Norman, Andy Ogle, Scott Perry, Matt Rosendale, Keith Self, and Chip Roy, who will be joining us very, very shortly here. Now, let's just understand something, and let's be real honest with ourselves as we take another little sidetrack before I get to Chip and some other things. Do you remember COVID? Not COVID when it was hot and heavy, COVID in the very, very beginning. Do you remember COVID? Because I'll tell you, I remember COVID. And you know what I remember most about COVID? It actually wasn't Fauci or Trump or Birx. It actually wasn't the media. It wasn't the American people. It wasn't any of that. What sticks with me from COVID, it will always stick with me, was watching 90% of the right, politicians and pundits on the right, 90% of them come out and loudly proclaim their support for 15 days to slow the spread. That's right, it's only 15 days. Hey guys, millions may die. Taking the company line, handing the communists everything they needed to completely wreck the country. People have a rose-colored lens when they look at their own history. It wasn't the left that I remember, it was the right. And I remember the same people out there shouting from the rooftops, it's only 15 days. They were the same people telling you for the last week that these 20 brave ones, if we're going to call them that, I realize they all have different motivations, but that these 20, that they were selfish, that they were, what is that word they used? Terrorists, that they were traitors, that this is going to end up with a Democrat speaker. This might be the end of the world. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? We didn't elect a speaker in the first 15 minutes. It was not the left. It was the right. It was the people you watch on television. It was the people you listen to on the radio. It was the people who write for those publications. You wake up every single morning, you grab your phone. Oh, what are they saying on this publication? I won't remember the left. They did the same despicable stuff they always do. I will remember the right. And here's the thing. I want you to remember the right as well. Because that person on the right you watch, listen to, read, who was wrong at the beginning of COVID, seems to get every issue wrong at the very beginning of it. You know, St. George Floyd, COVID, the speakership. That same person who seems to be wrong initially every single time is somebody you need to drop and cut out of your life, because here's what the problem we face in this country truly, truly is. The problem we face is not the communists. We know what they are. We know what they want. We know they are ravenous. We know they will never quit. We know we have to defeat them. We know all that. All that stuff's baked in the cake. We got it. The communists suck. The problem we have in this country is the weapons-grade loser mentality on the right. The second someone actually takes a real stance, the second someone stands for something, uses their leverage, tries to get real things accomplished, the second things get a little, uncomfortable, guys. That guy you watch on TV, listen to on the radio, or read at National Review immediately thinks that this is too uncomfortable. Let's just lay down. Let's give up. We can't fight like this, guys. 90% of the right are a bunch of low-T GOP weenie losers. And I'm not just talking about the politicians. All those people who've spent all those years ranting against the establishment in the swamp couldn't get down on their knees and kiss Kevin McCarthy's butt fast enough the second things got a little bit uncomfortable for a speakership vote. That's the truth. And have you seen the things these 20 brave souls got? We mentioned them. Things like actually going after the administrative state in a real way. Single issue bills, so many other things, issue after issue after issue. They're all outstanding. I could read them all for you right now. I will not. But just know, I want you to go get a list, and I want you to read that list for yourself of all the things, all the concessions they got from Kevin McCarthy. And more importantly than that, I want you to remember all the people on the right, not the politician, the pundits on the right who stood against those things. You'd have none of them if 90% of the right had their way. Remember that.